Hello, friends. I am Chevee. Welcome to my shed. How are you? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? Hope it's fantastic. Everything here is great. Gen Con. We're still talking about Gen Con. Kind of. This is Gen Con tangential. Gen Con is a place where magic happens. And as I told you yesterday, it's a place where publishers spend many, many thousands of dollars and generally don't recoup their expenditures. That's a pretty normal, accepted thing. Even the publishers who claim to have sold out of things often are not covering their bills because they didn't bring enough product to do so. As I mentioned yesterday, we took way too much product, and but in the past we've taken not enough product, and then we couldn't have covered our costs had we wanted to, right? So it's a balance. But something magic happened at Gen Con, and like I said at the start, magic things do happen, and there are magic moments all over that show for me, and for the last almost 3 decades I've been attending shows there. And that was, a customer came to the booth to purchase something. I believe it was the Robinson Crusoe Book of Adventures, which if you haven't seen it yet, I'll be doing a talk about it at some point on the gaming channel. I need to do some videos over there anyway. A customer came and bought something, and then they said, "Are you Chevee?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm Chevee. Why?" And they were like, "Oh my God, we absolutely love me booty. This guy." And then they proceeded to tell me how much this game meant to them, how much it means to their family when they go visit their family. This is the game their family wants them to bring. And that just, I mean, it kind of melted me a little bit. Because this is from a point in my past where I was trying to be more of a graphic designer than a game designer, and looking at this, I'm still proud of the design here. It is extremely basic, and I would not do it this way today, but it serves its purpose. And speaking, like looking at the games I played at Gen Con, there were some that weren't this visually appealing. This is still a fairly visually appealing game despite its rudimentary graphic design, despite me just kind of slapping it together. But if you don't know the story of this game, brief history is I ran a Kickstarter in 2014 for this game. This is called Pull. It is a 2-player card game, or it is a team-based trick-taking card game. I don't know why I said 2-player. It can be played 2, but it's really intended to be a 4-player trick-taking card game. And the kind of the secret sauce here is that there's 2 tricks at a time. And so I themed it around trap shooting because it made sense. A lot of times when you're trap shooting, there's, pull and bang, bang. Duh. I picked the theme, and at the time, trick takers weren't huge. I picked all of this on purpose. I wanted the Kickstarter to not necessarily succeed, but if it did succeed, I wanted it to barely succeed. I wanted to write... This was more of an experiment to write about the process of running a Kickstarter at that time, as I was a kind of a vocal game designer. I was going to all the proto spiels, and I was talking about game design and being like, a mentor to some in that space. And I wanted to write about the experience because lots of people asked me. Having been published previously, people were wanting to know. And I said, I don't know, I've never used it. So I did it, and I made this. And this wrecked me mentally for about 6 months. And in the end, I ended up making almost $1,000 that I did not intend to make off of this Kickstarter. I really didn't want to make money on this. So what I did instead was I used that $1,000, I printed 100 decks of Me Booty. This is the card game version of my first published game, Scallywags. It's Scallywags with just cards. There's no coins to flip. That was the basis for it, and I think this is a pretty cool little game. I printed 100 decks, and I took them to Gen Con 2014, and I said, come find me, and I will give you a free game. That's all you gotta do, is you gotta come ask for me, and I will give you a free game. And so I handed out 100 decks of this to people at the show. I had 25 in my bag every day, and the people who came and talked to me at the booth said, we're one of those 25 people. They found me at a restaurant or something, and were like, oh my gosh, let's get this game, and they did. So this was like, wow, that felt really good. And I've always known I should do something with this. Is this a fantastic game? No. Is it a Is it a quality game? I think so. I think it's a good little, family style 3-4 player card game. It works really well up to 6 players, but at the larger player counts, it's kind of more of an interactive experience than it is a game, right? I recognize that this is not like a end all be all product, but for what it is, it's pretty good. And I rethemed this a few years ago as squirrels gathering their nuts, and I kind of reworked some of the mechanics of the game. Personally, I didn't think it worked that well. I think I like this better. This is plain and simple and boring and nice. It's comfortable. A year later, I wanted to do it again. I had so much fun doing the giveaway. I wanted to do it again, but I didn't have any money. So I asked people for sponsorships, and I got 2. I got 2 sponsorships. One was from Formal Ferret Games. If you don't know Formal Ferret, my favorite from them is Wordsy. Gilhova is the guy over there. And Matt Warden Games. Matt was a good friend of mine. They both donated money for me to produce this product. And this is, again, a little 3 to 4 player card game, which I actually did a development vlog on this channel. You can watch me create this game from scratch. And this is an interesting little product. The graphic design is way better. Like, this looks like a legit product. I did a pretty darn good job with both the logo and the fronts of the cards. I think it's a cool product. Okay, so person at Gen Con inspired talking about this game. At Essen, Z Garcia, who is a big fan of this pool game, he really likes this game, has been encouraging me to do something with it. He's like, you should do something with that game. I want to. I think this is a really good trick-taking game. It's actually very, very playable. Very, very good game. But the theme is stupid. Like, nobody wants this. And so this has been sitting in my head for a while. Like, how do I re-theme this? And if I do that, how do I get it out into the world? I was talking to one of our longtime helpers, Tyler, about all of this because I've been thinking. I was talking to him about that. I said something about this, and then I said something about this. And he said, why don't you make it about pirates? And I was like, I don't know how to make pirate. And then it clicked. And I went, oh. So in Pole, there are some animals, and you don't want to shoot the animals. Animals are worth negative points. What if this was not pirates, but pirate ships? And what if the negative ships are the Navy ships? You don't want to shoot the Navy ships, because then they'll destroy you. Oh, this suddenly makes sense. And these could go together. Because here's another thought I've had for a very long time. I want to do publishing again. I want to publish a couple of my games. And I've been thinking about how do I get this on Kickstarter. You can't. Like, I could run a Kickstarter for a 54 card game. That's not really what the market is looking for these days. But if I ran a Kickstarter for 3 pirate-themed card games together as one package, or, well, 3 separate packages, but you get them all together. 3 pirate-themed card games all coming together. I think that could work. And I realized I have Me Booty. And this could be, Me Ship, whatever. And this could be, instead of hats, you're gathering your crew. They're lining up at the dock. And this is, Me Crew or something. I don't know that I'm going to keep the names like that. But I think I'm going to do it. I've talked this over with my wife. This idea has been stuck in my head this entire time. I would really like to do the publishing thing again, and at least, if nothing else, have like a consistent inventory of a few things that people can get from me when they say, oh, you're a game designer, what do you do? Well, here's 3 card games I've done. You could check these out. I think that would be a cool thing to have. So I think this project is not going to take priority over finishing the book project for this year, but maybe next year. Maybe if I do it, I'm going to do it correctly. I'm going to hire an artist and a graphic designer to make the 3 products look like they belong to something. I would package them not in tuck boxes, but in the little small boxes, and have 3 decent little pirate games all themed together as a set. I think that would be a blast. I think it would be relatively risk-free. I think I could do it. When I did Pull, I kind of tiered this product. At the time, ordering a 54 card game with a box from China, the minimum quantity was 500. And I priced this so that if I had 500 backers, I could order and ship and not lose any money with that order, with that China order. It would have been tight, and if something had gone wrong, I might have lost a little bit, but it wouldn't have been soul crushing. But the alternative, so the way that I tiered it was, if it was less than 500 orders, I could order the same exact product, albeit a little different quality, through the Game Crafter, and I could fulfill the Kickstarter that way, and I would be safe. I would not lose anything. So it wasn't a risk, it wasn't a risky scenario. I think I can do the same thing with this. I think I can set it up so that if we don't hit the threshold, you'll just get, professionally printed but print on demand components, as opposed to the telescoping box and all that sort of stuff that you would get with the mass print, or, whatever. And that way I could guarantee success of the project without risking too much. Obviously, paying for art and stuff up front is a risk, but that's okay. I'm willing to pay money for some cool art, and I wouldn't have the artist do the whole thing. I would do a demo or a mock-up sort of thing. So, what do you think? Would you be interested in backing a Kickstarter with 3 little pirate-themed card games? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends and wonderful people. I really appreciate you. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Today's word you should know sounds smart is xylography. It's announcing the art of engraving wood. Even though it's not particularly valuable, we keep great-grandfather's xylography collection because it meant something to him. Xylography. Xylography. Is this like not carving or relief carving? Is that xylography, or is xylography something different?